What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video. Alright guys, we're doing a follow-up video for the negative crit damage video that I put out and I took down. So I want to first off say thank you to a couple of the subscribers who are watching. They actually corrected me and made me go back to do some testing. So I was doing testing with 2 units specifically, and ironically enough, those 2 units actually had some passive bonus attacks that I wasn't aware of. And so my numbers were a little skewed, and that's why things looked a little off. So let's go back and give you the proper information. So I took that video down. Ignore that if you watched it. Not many people did, so I was glad enough I took it down quick enough, so it wasn't going up in the thousands of views. And I wanted to make sure that the information that I put out is correct. So I'm going to correct myself. First off, say I was incorrect on my info and my understanding of it. And again, I was testing with Metal Knight. Now, Metal Knight has a passive that increases his damage, so it would make the negative crit damage look higher than it should have. Then I went back and used Moomin Rider, and he in fact showed that the negative crit damage is lower than the basic damage. So negative crit damage is in fact a negative stat. So what do you want to do? You want to do the opposite of what I said, actually, which is crazy. You actually want to build stats towards going above it. So you're doing less negative critical hits on it. Okay, so first off, just the way it works, and I'm going to rephrase what I said before. So here's Metal Knight, right? Again, he's got a passive on his skills that allow him to do more damage. He was the worst person to probably do this testing on. So I went ahead and did it with Moomin Rider, and I noticed that yes, in fact, all of my negative crit damage that I have on my stats here did in fact do only 75% of the damage what that normal attacks did. So it's a bad stat. So how do you avoid this? Simply by reducing the amount of negative crit you have. So it's the opposite effect what I was saying. So here you can see I have minus 45% crit. So now if we go back to wills and impressions, you actually want to get rid of that negative stuff. So if I go back to memory and will for this bad boy over here, anything that had resolute, I actually want to get rid of it. The resolute minus crit to attack bonus is not worth it. Now, unless somebody is like no crit damage at all in their kit, this is going to be fairly useless unless their kit is super high with a lot of crit and they have a lot of crit already, base crit. Then you can sacrifice a little bit of crit and get yourself some power. But outside of that, the way you actually want to counter this, and again, thank you for those who showed me the error of my own ways, is you want to put penetrating eye on there or any other way to reduce the amount of negative crit he does. Even if you have minus crit, he still has a chance of critting. I know that sounds weird, but it does still scale well. So you want to actually make sure that when he does, when you do build anyone with negative crit, you want to get this down to 0 if you can, or above, which will make them trigger the critical damage instead of the negative crit. So Lily, I gave an example, right? She actually is a negative crit damage character, but at 0%, she doesn't really do negative crit damage. So if you can keep that at 0, you'll never see this number. Instead, you'll see that number. So let's go show you guys how that works, right? So I'm going to go ahead and jump into one of these. Jump in one of these battles with you guys, okay? And we're going to use Lily as our main character. And I'll show you. So you guys saw she's a negative crit character, right? So we'll take Moomin Rider out. This is where I was doing my testing, by the way. We'll add her in. And here you should never, at 0%, you should never see her actually do any negative crit. So that's the blue flash, right? So we're going to go ahead and add her to team. And then we're going to go ahead and start the battle, okay? And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. Okay, so here you want to see the red crits, essentially. So here we do regular attacks, 531, 1049, etc. Right? You're not seeing any blue hits from her at all because you've now reduced. There's the 550 crit, right? You've now reduced the whole concept of negative crits with her. So if you can get it to 0, you won't see any of those blue things, which are actually bad. So yeah, not good. Not like I mentioned before. So you guys can see here again. I'm just trying to show you. She can still do crit even at 0%. It's weird, but some of the memories that she has will allow her to do more crits, even though she doesn't have it on her stats. For example, you put something that allows her to do more crit when she's in front of the opponent or when she's behind the opponent, etc. That won't show in your stats, but you're still able to do crit damage nonetheless, right? So just keep that in mind when you are playing this. So that's how it works. The goal, guys, at the end of the day, is to reduce the negative crit rate or your crit rate to 0%, so you never do a critical hit or a negative critical. You always want to do regular criticals if possible. Now, I know it's weird, but it's a weird stat they added. Again, I've never seen it before, so I was trying to figure it out. But again, my testing was done on the wrong unit or with the wrong unit, so it kind of skewed the results, and I would have never noticed until somebody mentioned it. So thank you so much for, I think it was Nosy D and a few others that pointed it out. This is what I love about communities, man. You know, I do my testing and I didn't realize the passive on one unit, and it completely changed the testing around now. So great job, guys, on figuring that out. You really helped put this together. So now I'm able to give the masses who watch the proper information. So you guys can see here, again, no blues at all, right? 0 blue damage coming through. Now, if I use someone like Moomin Rider, you'd actually be able to see that blue damage fairly often because he has 35% crit rate, or minus 35% crit rate, allowing him to do even less crits. So that blue damage comes through as a negative thing, not a positive thing. So there you guys go. I just wanted to talk about this real quick. So yes, the Resolute stuff, you can still equip it on units, but you actually want to do the opposite of what I said. You want to equip it on units who are, as a matter of fact, have high crit rate. That way you guys can take advantage of lowering their crit rate a little bit and giving them more attack power, okay? That's essentially how it works, guys. You guys can see I'm level 53 now. I'm trying to push for even further to 54, 55 if possible. So I'll explain this further into my live stream that goes on hopefully tonight, my last one before vacation. And this will hopefully help you guys understand a little bit better. So again, thank you to those who corrected me, because that means a lot, because now I understand it better, and hopefully you guys understand it better. And overall, I think it's a weird stat to have. But I look someone like Smile Man, right? If you look at his stats, he's got minus 30%. So you're going to need to put plus 30% crit to make this never happen, right? So you can see here, instead you want this one to go off because it's much more. So negative crit damage is not a good thing, guys. So avoid using that as much as you possibly can. I apologize for the wrong information. I'm only human. I thought I was doing the proper testing, but I didn't in this case. And again, I appreciate you guys coming through and showing me the error of my ways. And hopefully we can continue doing this kind of thing more often, because I think it's important that, you know, the information I put out is accurate. And this is what I was referring to right here. If you look at Zombie Man, right? Oh, not Zombie Man, sorry, Metal Knight. He's got a passive trait apparently that allows him to do more damage as a character. So I wasn't aware of this again. So something I should have obviously looked at. I'm trying to remember where you see those passives though. Character list. No, I thought there was a way to see. It was under gameplay. That's right here. So Metal Knight enters Annihilation mode to significantly enhance his attack abilities and use power audible strikes after Annihilation mode ends. So that's what was happening with me. I think he was in Annihilation mode and it was doing more damage in that mode. So that was the issue. I think you guys can see what everyone's passives are, by the way, right here, right? To see what kind of character they are. Sorry, I was just trying to remember all this. There's a lot to remember in this game, and this is one of the things I forgot where it was located. So there you guys go. Definitely look into this. It does make a huge difference when you understand your character. My apologies again. Thank you for those who corrected it. This is the proper video. I'll take the other one down. Thanks, guys. Take care.